story, or silly joke if you want. How's the sound up there, Wilson? You good? Okay. So Grug the caveman was having a rough day. His hunting spear broke, his favorite loincloth was in the wash, and he stubbed his toe on a rock. As he limped through the prehistoric village, he saw a sign carved into a stone tablet. Amazing deal! Trade 1 mammoth tusk for a magic beans that grow instant food trees. Limited time offer. Excited by the prospect of never having to... Oh, come on, really? Never having to hunt again, Grug traded his prized mammoth tusk for a handful of pebbles painted to look like beans. As he planted the magic beans and waited for the instant food tree to grow, it finally dawned on him. He'd fallen from the oldest trick in the book, which coincidentally was the only trick in the book at the time, since it was the only book. Grug sighed and muttered, "Ugh, me should have known, if deal too good to be true, probably invented by sneaky snake oil salesman named Zog." And that, folks, is how the world's first scam and the world's first gullible consumer came to be. Probably not, but, you know, sounded good at the time. So, on to the presentation. Fishing has nothing to do with putting a pole with a string in the water. We've seen these emails out there. There's actually a new one that I just heard about last night. What they do is through Marketplace, they sell, what was it? They buy a product. And so they transfer you the money. They send you an Interac link, and it mimics a real Interac payment link. You click on that link, you log in, you've now given them your website or your security login from your bank, and they'll clean you out. And it's just, it looks legit. And these types of scams are all over everywhere. And they use deceptive emails, websites, or text messages. We've seen the text messages, often impersonating legitimate companies or institutions like Interac. They aim to steal login credentials, financial information, or install malware. May use urgent language, limited time deal, or threats to prompt immediate action. Tech support scams. I remember my mom, when she first got a computer, she contacted me, and she was quite proud because somebody had phoned her and said that her computer had a problem. She says, "I don't trust them." And I go, "Good, Mom." So sometimes they'll pretend to be well-known tech companies. Sometimes it's Google. They may use pop-up warnings or cold calls to initiate contact. They attempt to gain remote control of your devices and often charge unnecessary services to steal sensitive information. This also brings up, although it may not, well, it is a tech support scam, I guess. One of the things I run is a BC Crime Watch page, and through that, there is a lot of stolen vehicles. And as soon as you post a stolen vehicle post, something happens. There's bots out there that will instantly post fake testimonials saying, right away, get your VIN number, contact this and this person, Hackso or whatever on Instagram, and they will help you find your car. It's a scam. I try to delete those as soon as they come. I block them. I put in keyword filters. They happen incredibly fast. There's no humans involved. It's all programming until you respond, and then there's a human involved that's going to steal your money. Identity theft involves stealing personal information like social security, social insurance numbers, credit card details. It can lead to fraudulent purchases, loan applications, or tax fraud may occur through data breaches, London Drugs, for example, phishing or physical theft of documents. So that brings up shred your documents if there's anything important, and even when it comes to your mail, empty your mailbox. If you're away on vacation, have somebody grab your mail, because it's easy for someone to steal your mail and then use the content of that mail to create another you. Can have long-lasting impacts on your credit scores and financial health. Social media profile cloning. This is sort of like identity theft, and I've seen this happen a lot. And I've done a video on it on Facebook. Basically, if your Facebook profile or whatever has all of your friends public, you are a target for a cloner. Because what they'll do is they'll take your pictures, they'll create another you, they'll send friend requests to all of your friends, and then once they gain their trust because they're you, or at least they appear to be you, they will try to scam them. They'll say, you know, I need money, Here's a great investment. You need to get this. I made lots of money. And because they think they're talking to a friend, they've got trust. So when it comes to social media profiles, hide your friends list, even to friends. I joke about how to the outside world, my Facebook friends list looks like I'm a social leper. I have no friends. Because initially I did it to protect them, and that's really what it comes down to, because it does protect them from being scammed. They use your public information and photos, and even if it comes to, say for example, here's one that I saw, and it leads into grandparent scam as well. Somebody posted a public picture of a child. Other people commented on that picture. Or even if it's not a child, if it's a picture of themselves, and suddenly there's hundreds of responses saying, oh, great picture, or congratulations on your graduation. The scammers, even if your friends list is private, can now see your friends because they've all commented on that post. They aim to deceive your friends, we know that. Can lead to financial scams, identity theft, or malware spread, which is another one. They'll send a video, and sometimes you see these videos on Facebook that say, oh my God, look at this video, if it's, on a crime thing, like if there's a murder or an assault, and they'll say, oh, look at this video, and it's not the video, it's a phishing expedition or malware that goes on your computer. They can use all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, text messages, whatever. If they can get hold of you, they will. Grandparent scam. So this brings up the thing with the child's pictures. I saw one where somebody had posted a picture of their child. The grandparent had commented and said, happy birthday to so-and-so. They mentioned their name, they mentioned their age, they mentioned that they were the grandparent. So now suddenly that person, grandparent, is a target because the scammers can now go and say, oh, I'm so-and-so and I'm in trouble. Please don't tell mom. Can you send money? They claim to be in trouble, it needs urgent financial help, they request secrecy, and they may use urgent language or threats. Sometimes it's even people pretending to be the authorities, and a lot of people have lost money that way. I remember one in White Rock where they were scammed because somebody came to their door and said that they were the representative of a lawyer or something. They needed money to bail the grandchild out of jail. Rental scams. Being a renter, this one is very troubling. They aim to steal money, of course. They create fake listings. They ask for a deposit up front. With rentals being in high demand, people will often pay this deposit without seeing the home. And red flags are too good to be true prices, urgent requests, no in-person meetings. Verify ownership, inspect the property, and use trusted platforms, maybe even rental agents. Lottery scam, same type of thing. They claim the victim has won a prize in a contest that they never entered, require payment of fees or taxes to claim the non-existent prize. So that's how they make the money. They often use official-looking documents or websites to appear legitimate. They can also ask for your banking information to transfer you the funds or even send you a fake e-transfer, which will give them your bank account information. Investment scams, promises high returns with little to no risk. There's a lot of Ponzi schemes out there still. Forex trading, real estate. They use professional-looking websites, appear legitimate, and they may pressure victims to act quickly. And again, that's a common thread. If there's pressure to act quickly and the deal is too good to be true, chances are it is. Romance scams. My brother-in-law was trapped with this one. 2 years, 24,000 USD. He thought he was married. He never met the lady. Well, it wasn't even a lady. I finally told him, look, it's not a, and this was when we went to Seattle because he actually flew to Seattle to meet this person. And on his way, he got a message from the quote-unquote lawyer. Do not come. She can't have you into her apartment because it's too small, and there's a rule that says that she can't have visitors in her apartment, which is absolute bollocks. But FBI got involved, and he, I believe, is getting a lot of his money back. And there's random compliments from fake profiles. Another personal story. A friend of mine, a deceased friend of mine, his widow. I saw someone comment on one of her posts that said, "Oh, I've been following you, and I hope you don't find this too forward, but I really like how you say things." And, you know, obviously she's grieving, and, you know, she sees this comment from somebody who I think claimed to be a police officer or ex-military or something, a person of trust. And, you know, she's like, oh, thank you. And, you know, he's like, can I send you a friend request? I instantly sent her a message and said, this is a scammer. And it was easy to find out, because all you do is you search for those exact words and you'll come up with dozens and hundreds of identical posts of people saying, I really like what you say. And they try to build those emotional connections. They eventually ask for money, citing emergencies, travel expenses. My brother-in-law was scammed by her saying there was medical procedures that had to be done. It was life-saving. Wedding dress. Apparently he paid for a wedding dress. And they may persist for months or years. In his case, it was 2 years, causing significant financial and emotional damage. He was shattered by this, like absolutely shattered. Sextortion. We've heard these stories in the news. They target children. It's really sad. They talk them into sending intimate images, and even adults, and then they'll threaten to expose them. If this happens to you or anybody you know, contact the police. Don't be embarrassed. This happens to people all the time. There's nothing wrong with it. And it's exactly what you know, it wasn't a sextortion thing, but I told my brother-in-law the same thing. Don't feel bad. It's not your fault. You fell in love with this concept. Not your fault. You're a good person. Report it. And he didn't even want to go to the police. He just was so embarrassed. And then sometimes it just ends in tragedy. And again, they use urgent language and threats to prompt immediate action. Job employment scams. I see these ones all the time. You see them in social media or neighborhood groups, and I communicate to a lot of, because of BC Crime Watch, I follow a lot of community pages, and as soon as I see these scammers, I contact them, or if you know I see that they're in mutual groups, I'll contact the admins and say, hey, look, this is a scammer. They'll post an ad saying, you know, work from home, make a lot of money. It's a scam. What they'll do is may require upfront money for training or equipment. They may collect personal information for identity theft, and it also may involve money laundering. For example, they can just, you know, transfer, if it's a criminal organization, transfer money to your account and have you act as a money mule. There's a reason I put that slide right after. Criminals recruit people to transfer illegally obtained money on their behalf. Sometimes it's job scams, work from home opportunities. They can also use romance scams or just make friends with people on the internet. Victims receive laundered money into their account and then are asked to transfer it elsewhere. Risks include money laundering charges and loss of money, or loss of your money completely. Marketplace scams, we've gone through that. That's a big one. They use fraudulent websites and listings, offers products at suspiciously low prices. One that I saw was eggs. I paused for a minute there for a reason. $10 for 24 eggs, I think, was the offer. And you know, they said, we have an excess number of eggs, we need to get rid of them. And this was locally, and people were falling for it because it's only $10. But it's not about the $10. It's about your banking information. It's about multiple $10. And they say pay your deposit so you can get your eggs. You know, lots of people are interested because we only have a few dozen. You know, if you want them, you'll pay the deposit. And you know, eggs are expensive. And they may never deliver the products, or it may send counterfeit goods. They can also involve gathering credit card information for fraud. Actually, the counterfeit goods, that reminds me of the speakers. I don't know how many people remember those speakers that were being sold in parking lots. I almost fell for that. That was many years ago. Puppy scams, cute little pictures online. There's no puppy, and they will post these pictures all over the place. This is one of the reasons Facebook says they do not allow sales of animals. Actually, that's not the reason, but it's a good reason as well. They'll request payment via wire transfer or gift cards. Prices are lower than the typical prices for that breed, and they'll refuse to let you see the puppy in person before buying. You'll have to reserve the puppy, and there's multiple listings with the same photos but different details, and sometimes even the same details. Home repair scams, similar to the aforementioned tech support scam. They'll go door to door. They'll offer deals on services. Sometimes the services aren't needed. Maybe they are legitimate businesses. I see this in the alarm industry a lot. People will come to, and they're legitimate companies. They'll come to your door and say, "We're from the alarm company. We're here to, we noticed your monitoring contract is up for renewal." I've had them contact one of my customers in Delta with exactly that same thing. He contacted me immediately. He said, "Who is this person coming to my door? It's not you. Why are they coming, trying to get me to renew my contract?" It's not me, it's not from me, and it's from another company, and I won't mention their name. But they're a legitimate company. They sold out to another company recently. But yeah, they'll go around and they'll do that type of thing. But you'll see it on furnace repairs, even roof repairs, and they'll take a deposit and they'll never show up. They use high pressure tactics, tell you things are going to go wrong. In the case of the alarm, we'll upgrade you to a new digital system, to just use buzzwords people don't really understand, nor do they. And sometimes they're just fake and they're pretending to represent a legitimate company. Case in point, my neighborhood again, after that big fire that happened across the street on Scott Road in 2017, somebody was wandering around the neighborhood wearing a shirt from, I can't even remember the name of the restoration, I think it was Cromwell. They were wearing a Cromwell shirt and, going door to door. And so, I went to one of the supervisors and had a picture of the guy and I said, "Is this guy working for you?" He goes, "By definitely not." And within minutes, he had all his workers canvassing the area trying to find the guy. He was quite upset about it. Health and medical scams. I remember seeing one of these in a Facebook group, and my wife has chronic health conditions, and at the time, we didn't know what it was. It turned out to be a brain tumor. She had headaches that were constant. And so I saw this post, and somebody had said, "I want to help." She was 19 years old. "I want to help 10 people today. Contact me if you have these symptoms," and listed headaches as one of them, and quite a few other serious symptoms that seemed benign but could end up being really serious. And I pointed out, much to the chagrin of the admin of that group, that she was not a medical professional. I asked her, I said, "What's your medical training to say that you can cure anything for anybody?" And I got in trouble from the real estate agent that ran the group, still does. I don't belong to that group anymore. Reliance on testimonials over scientific evidence. There's a lot of fake testimonials out there. I get contacted constantly by people who say, "Oh, you own an alarm company. We can write 100 positive reviews for you for so and so much money." No, go away. I don't want to do that. I'd rather have fewer reviews and have them be honest. They promise to treat multiple unrelated conditions. Pressure to act quickly, again. Fake online pharmacies, although I haven't seen that here. I think that's more of a US thing, cheap drugs without prescriptions. Psychic or fortune-telling scams. I know that there's an entertainment component to this, and I also know somebody who, she feels she's got powers, and I'm not going to argue with it. Maybe she does. I don't understand it. But there's also some that are very predatorial and scammers. You see these, I saw something posted on Facebook. They were dropping off cards, and the person said that they would remove curses, they would cure many health conditions, make people rich, all sorts of promises that there's absolutely no way they could possibly even deliver on those. Tax scams, again, they'll just claim to be from the tax agency. Sometimes it's a text message, sometimes it's a phone call. I get them all the time where, this is the Internal Revenue Service. We're going to send the police after you. I have a klaxon horn just for that. I wait for the person to come online, and then I blast this little air horn, and it gives me pleasure, twisted as it is. They often use threats of arrest or legal action to create urgency. They may demand payment of fake fines. They usually through gift cards or wire transfers. And some may even claim to have a tax return for you by a text message or phone call and say, go to this link to get your tax return. Government doesn't do that. I remember seeing that with COVID relief. There was tons of those texts going out. Debt collection scams, again the same thing. Aggressive phone calls claiming you owe money, using threats, exactly the same as the tax scam. Charity scams. So once again, any natural disaster that happens, people will take advantage of these charitable organizations. Be cautious. There are some legitimate organizations out there. You can contact them and they can verify whoever's canvassing, be it the United Way, Red Cross, or whatever the case may be. They pressure victims to donate immediately without proper verification, and they may provide fake tax receipts. ATM and point-of-sale skimming. Again, I did about 3 videos of this on Facebook on BC Crime Watch. They basically put a fake cover on top of an existing point-of-sale machine, and sometimes it even includes the keypad. It looks real, and people will say, how does that happen? It's got to be an inside job. It can happen within seconds. I've got one video where a person was distracting someone and then another person came and quickly popped the fake cover on top of the POS machine. And 3D printing technology makes it easy. And obviously leads to unauthorized withdrawals. Keep an eye on your credit card statement. And when I posted those videos, a lot of people said, oh, is TAP safe? No, TAP is a wireless technology. You put your card close to it, they've got a fake reader. An ESP32 chip is $15 for an expensive one, about $7. And somebody with a little bit of technical knowledge can program that thing to do anything from, run a camera, do home automation. They're a really cool chip. I played around with them. But they can also be used to read any type of technology. Apple Pay is apparently, they claim to be secure for that because of multiple verification. They're secure until they're not. So don't assume any tech is safe. Always keep an eye on your bank statements. As far as reporting fraud, it's a really long URL, which is French and English, but if you go to Google and search for Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, it'll come up. If you get a text fraud, it's really quite easy. Just forward the text to 7726, and you will get a verification text back saying thank you for reporting. I've done this multiple times. It works great. So really, that's about it. So any questions? Sure.
What I learned about at CARP is that, especially during COVID, as a senior, movers were moving furniture for seniors and then holding it ransom.
Yeah.
$10,000.
Jeez.
All for COVID, less now.
Wow, that's kind of scary. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I guess when people I can see it happening even outside of COVID. That just people are.
Not much licensing for being a mover.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of moving companies are also money laundering fronts because it's I've heard of that before. I've known of some like that where the person running the thing was obviously a drug dealer, and they were using the moving business because it's all cash. They have to verify where the money is coming from. And it's really quite easy to say, oh, somebody paid me to move, and they paid me cash. And now the money is clean. So